and welcome to the ghoulish world of sticks. This is the podcast that solves your first world problems and just waits until the end of spooky Halloween type songs before I can do the proper introduction. I think no one was expecting to hear the spooky song make a reappearance. Is that the case?
Well, I don't know. I had an inkling.
Well, I thought that it would be appropriate because this is our Halloween episode. We are doing a Halloween special this week. I am Dan.
I am Dom.
And I'm Ross.
So this week, we're doing something a little bit different, seeing as it's Halloween, and we've each picked our favourite horror-type movie, Halloween-type movie. And what we are going to be doing is we are going to each state our favourite Halloween-type movie, and then we're going to solve the problem in that movie, which ended up causing all of the kerfuffle.
And they normally are quite the kerfuffle.
Yes. So, for example, we could solve all of the problems in A Nightmare on Elm Street by, maybe
cocaine.
Lots of cocaine. Weirdly, your mind went to the comedy one. I'm like, well, we could solve the problems in Nightmare on Elm Street by abolishing corporal punishment. Maybe if paedophiles didn't get sent to the chair, Freddy wouldn't have come back. Wasn't that the whole thing about Freddy Krueger? He was like,
wasn't he burned? No, he was burned. Like it was like a vigilante justice type thing.
I think.
That's
it. Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not hot on horror movies, as you were about to find out. But yeah, I think he's like house got burnt down, and like he died inside. And now he haunts Elm Street.
Well, why don't we get started? We can go. We'll do Ross's one first because Ross is the actual person who watches horror films here.
Yeah.
So we'll get started with Ross's one.
The film I've picked to solve, because I think it's going to be particularly difficult, is Cabin in the Woods. I love that film. Before we get started, though, I'm busting for a wee. I probably should have gone before we started. I'll be right back.
Right.
Okay, right. You pop off for a wee then.
Yeah.
And we'll just get started without you.
Yeah. It never takes long.
No. Only a little willy.
Yeah.
Doesn't
have far to travel.
I've never seen Cabin in the Woods, have you?
No, I sort of know the gist.
What is give me the gist so then
something
then I'll know what's going on.
It's supposed to be like a like some sort of like, it's almost like a parody that's not a parody.
Right.
And it's about these group of teens that go to a cabin in the woods.
Shall I read you a couple of...
read me a synopsis.
Synopses from a very popular internet movie database.
Yeah.
The name of which eludes me. This one's written by Gary K. MCD. Gary K. McD. 5 teenagers head off for a weekend at a secluded cabin in the woods.
Oh, sexy.
They arrive to find they are quite isolated with no means of communicating with the outside world. When the cellar door flings itself open, they of course go down to investigate. They find an old assortment of relics and curios. But when one of the women, Dana, reads from a book, she awakens a family of deadly zombie killers.
Right.
You think they'd be okay with the zombie killers around? At least then if zombies attacked, the deadly zombie killers would kill all of the zombies.
Yeah.
Really. However, there's far more going on than meets the eye.
Da, 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 da.
Here's another one. This one starts from a different point, clearly in the film. In an industrial facility, 2 technicians are preparing for their day on an unknown operation. That sounds strange and dangerous. Meanwhile, 5 friends are preparing for their trip to a remote cabin owned by Kurt's cousin. On the way, they stop for gas and have an encounter with a strange local who owns the gas station. While drinking and relaxing at the cabin, they discover a basement filled with interesting artifacts. These are just getting more and more abstract. Ben Swindon says 5 friends go for a break at a remote cabin where they get more than they bargained for, discovering the truth behind the cabin in the woods.
Okay.
So it's a zombie
That's
film.
more of a tagline.
Zombie film, right?
No, I thought it was to do with like underneath there's like a facility where all the horror movie tropes are kept. And like
Really?
and it's sort of like something to do with the horror movie tropes have to like kill people to appease like a dark god that sleeps under the woods.
Really?
Yeah. It's like Joss Whedon's way of like sending up horror movies, but at the same time giving them a reason to exist.
Okay. So yeah, you are right. It's Goddard. It's a guy called Drew Goddard who directed it and produced by Joss Whedon, written by Whedon and Goddard. So yeah, so you think it's sort of like this, like a bit of an in-joke thing.
It's a bit meta, I think, as far as I know.
Okay. The end appears to be, spoiler alert, deciding that humanity is not worth saving, Dana and Marty share a joint while awaiting their fate. The temple door collapses and a giant hand emerges, destroying the facility and the cabin itself. So we need to solve this film without actually having ever seen this film.
Right.
I'm sure.
Don't go to the cabin in the woods.
I'm sure Ross will have more to say about this when he gets back.
Yeah.
We've been recording for 7 minutes now. He's been. This is a long.
Been
piss.
gone a while.
He's got to go for a poo.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
His high protein, low fiber diet.
Yeah. Oh, how's your vegan diet going?
Yeah, pretty well. Obviously, when I was round Gems most of the week, but when I came home, I couldn't exactly ask my parents to buy all different food, so I have had a bit of meat.
Fair.
But I have been trying to eat a larger amount of vegetarb.
Don't eat pork, not even with a fork.
Yeah, something like that. But it's been going okay.
Excellent. Well, that's my scare for the week.
There you go.
That if you had only eaten vegetation for a week, I would have probably shit my pants.
Would you?
As you would, I can imagine.
Quite
with all
a lot.
that fibre.
Yeah, all that fibre.
So, I mean, obviously, don't go to spooky cabins in the woods.
The I would,
thing.
Unless it's in some sort of camping facility, I just wouldn't go to a cabin in the woods.
Well, I know this is something which is common in a lot of kind of horror thriller films, but think about this just logically for a second. I know you're supposed to suspend your belief when you're watching a film, but we're sitting in my old office right now, right? If it doesn't even have to be like a trap door or a door to the basement or whatever. If the door to this room or like one of the doors up here just opened itself right now, right? Is your reaction? This is pick your own adventure here, right?
Right.
Your choices are: A, go out and investigate why a door has just spookily opened by itself. B, get the fuck out of here. C, remain cautious, but stay in here.
B,
get the fuck out of it,
here.
right?
Yeah.
Until you know what the fuck's going on. Like, go outside and just wait to see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so like you're in a spooky cabin in the woods, hence the film name Cabin in the Woods, and a thing opens in the floor. I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. Pissed or no pissed. Hot titty action or no hot titty action. Which is a lot of the reason why these blokes, like the males in horror films, stick around.
Hot titty action.
Hot titty action.
Yes, I've also noticed that. But yeah, I mean, even at the beginning of this, like, I'm not someone who spooks easily. I don't believe in ghosts or any of that sort of crap. But even I would, if you said to me, do you want to come and stay at a cabin in the woods?
There's no power, no internet.
I would already think that I start thinking, even though you, one of my best friends, I've known you for as long as I've known many of my closest friends. We've known each other for a long time, half my life probably. Maybe not quite half my life.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe about a third of my life.
Yeah.
If you turned around to me and said, do you want to come and stay in my aunt and uncle's cabin in the woods, right? I would start thinking, maybe this is something I don't actually want to do, because you are either trying to have your sexual way with me or you're going to kill me. Why would you want me to go and stay in a cabin in the woods with no internet and no telephone and no anything?
That's true.
Right? Can you imagine?
Hence why we've never been on holiday together.
Holiday together. You tell me, do you fancy coming with me to Grand Can? I'm in.
Grand Can?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it now? Grand Can?
Yeah.
Yeah, just going out of Grand Can for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Or maybe Grand Can or San Fran.
Those are two very different places.
Milton Tovey.
Milton Tovey. That's more than I go for my holidays.
There's a little bit of these people just clearly have no logic.
Part of me feels that sometimes horror movies are sort of just Darwinism in action.
Yes.
Yeah.
In real life, that's what would happen. Those people deserve to be getting... The people in, Texas Chainsaw Massacre...
Scream,
yeah. They deserve to be getting it, yeah.
Like Scream, for instance, there's a number of different ways that could have gone down.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they'd all actually stuck to curfew, they wouldn't have all been at that party.
That's true.
That's it. If they weren't also titty obsessed.
If they weren't all titty obsessed or dick obsessed, would have been fine.
Yeah. But no, I think, yeah, just using a little bit of common sense. I mean, it's just, you get taught these most basic things when you're a child.
Yeah, run away from bad situations.
Yeah, don't talk to strangers.
Spooky shit.
Yeah,
run away.
I think you can quite easily extrapolate things like don't talk to strangers, and what are some other kid advice you get told?
Say no to drugs.
Say no to drugs. Walk straight home.
Yeah, look both ways before crossing the road.
Don't go down dark alleys.
Yeah. You
could easily extrapolate that to don't go down fucking trapdoors when they spookily open in a cabin
in the woods. Very true. Ross is taking his time.
He really is.
I mean,
maybe he's fallen down a trap hole.
A trap hole. A trap door.
A trap doll.
A trap door. Trap doll?
Trap hole.
Trap hole.
Trap door.
Maybe there's a trap door, secret trap door in the toilets.
There could be.
It's spookily open. Now he's in it.
It's spooky. This is a spooky office this week.
It's a spooky office.
I suppose we've kind of solved his one before he's even come back though.
Yeah, don't go down trap holes, trap door holes.
Fine. Don't use common sense. That's basically what we're saying.
Probably you solved every horror movie there.
Yeah.
Use common sense.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. What's your one? Let's move on to movie number 2.
Alien. That's a horror movie.
Alien.
And it's in my wheelhouse because it's sci-fi.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can get behind Alien.
There's actually not a lot of ways that situation could have gone differently.
So just to recap, Alien, basically what happens is what's his name, who's the guy who gets attacked by the alien in the beginning.
John Hurt, that's it. John Hurt. Don't stare into weirdly vaginal looking eggs.
John Hurt goes down onto a planet.
LV-426 with Ripley and another guy.
Yeah.
And they discover a crashed alien spaceship.
Yeah, gets attacked. It attaches itself to his face. They bring him back on the ship. I'm going to bring up the first point here. Against procedure, if I remember correctly.
It was against procedure.
But they fucking refuse to let him go, to leave him out there. They bring him in against procedure, and the alien spawns and gestates in his chest cavity little tiny alien
penis face chest burster.
gear stick from a car, pops out.
While they're all having dinner, of all things.
Yeah, runs amok throughout their spaceship and systematically hunts them down and kills them.
Mm.
And then finally gets stopped by
Ripley.
the talented Miss Ripley.
The talented Miss Ripley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, rips an android apart.
How, remind me, how does she kill it in the end?
With the mech suit.
That's it.
And she goes,
That's
something
it.
about, you bitch. No, that's in Aliens. Sorry. That's the second one. Get away from her, you bitch. And then that's in the second one.
Yeah.
And she shoves the queen out the airlock.
Yeah.
How does the first one ends, she gets off the ship. Remember?
She just leaves.
She leaves, she like escapes the ship in an escape pod. No, that's the second one.
Is it?
How's the first one end?
I'm really desperately trying to think about how.
No, surely the first one ends where she escapes and puts herself into like carbonite freeze, and then that second one where she wakes up and a few like 100 years later or something, her daughter's dead, and she's put in that calming room with the park screen in the background because it's all Weyland-Yutani Corporation wants her to go out and see the aliens again on another planet. They colonize the planet in the second one, and she goes with a group of Marines to see what happened to it, and we all know what happened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she gets to go into stasis. She puts on a spacesuit, opens the shuttle's airlock. The explosive decompression forces the alien into the airlock doorway. She shoots it with a grappling hook to propel it into space, but the gun catches as the airlock closes, tethering the alien to the shuttle. It attempts to crawl as one of the engines, but Ripley fires them to blast the alien into space. After recording the voyage final log entry, she places herself and the cat
Oh, that's right, the cat.
into stasis for the trip home to Earth.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's fired out the airlock.
Yes. And in
And
the
then
second
bla-
one,
and then
it's also
blasted.
fired out the
And
airlock.
then blasted with the engine.
That's right. In the second one, it is also fired out the airlock. The alien queen.
Well, I mean, I think that my solution clearly to this film is to
Don't let John Hurt back on the ship.
just follow procedure. Procedure's there for a reason, guys. There are rules for for a reason.
Biohazard.
There's a rule. There are rules there for a reason.
You wouldn't let someone with the plague onto your spaceship, would you?
Absolutely not.
No.
Even if it was you, Dom.
Well, I wouldn't want you to.
If you went out, we're gonna go back to our office analogies here. If you went outside, a fucking alien attacked.
Office analogies. Well, I just like sitting there with a face hugger on my face.
Yeah.
I just like turn around and I'm like,
Come back in, and all of the medical equipment was in this office, right? There's no way I'm letting you back in here.
no,
Absolutely no way. I'm not letting any of that shit near me.
no.
Like it's one thing. Like it's one thing to be doing. You know, like if you got covered in something on this planet,
Hmm.
mate. If you went outside and you stepped in dog poo, I wouldn't let you back in here.
No.
It's just procedure.
It's procedure, yeah. That's just common sense. Going back to our first thing. What's
Yeah.
this taking a very long time? I'm starting to get a bit worried.
Maybe he's poo on his shoe and he knows that it's procedure not to
Yeah, it's procedure not to come back
not
in.
to come back in.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Horror film
Yeah.
or Halloween type movie. Well, mine's. I think. Thing is, I'm not really that big into horror films.
No.
I've seen plenty of horror films, and then I was sort of going through like the ones which I have kind of enjoyed, and or like ones that at least that I've seen a couple of times, and like I quite enjoy the Scream films
Yeah.
because they're kind of a bit tongue in cheek.
They're more sort of,
They're meta,
they're very meta, yeah.
and I kind of enjoy that. And they're a bit sort of like, you know, it's a bit more modern, and you know, they're not. I don't really get jump scared very easily.
No.
But I kind of thought about them, and then I thought, well, you know, the whole point of them, those Scream films, is that they sort of contain all of the tropes.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do something kind of tropey. So then I was sort of thinking about other things, and I'm like, I'm a bit of a fan of those sort of like classic George A. Romero zombie films.
Oh, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I like those. But then, like a couple of years ago, Maddie and I watched Dawn of the Dead. That's the one in the shopping centre.
Yeah.
We watched that Halloween.
Yeah.
And it's funny kind of watching it, at the time it was probably so crazy. But
Yeah.
watching it now, there's literally like a 45-minute sequence where they're literally just living in a shopping centre. They're just popping down to the shops. There's no zombies. Like they're just milling around.
Well, I think the whole thing of it was to do with like consumerism and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought about that. And then I thought, are there any of these films that are there any Halloween type films that I just really, really enjoy? And so I thought I would give a pick of two things. My first, actually, do you know what? It probably shouldn't be a pick because the first one is such a vast sort of statement. I was going to say Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oof, no.
Because then you're solving the whole thing. Like
you're solving a whole mythos there.
There's so much, she dies, she comes back from the dead, and she is the Slayer, she isn't the Slayer. Like it's a whole fucking thing. And also, if anything has sort of like counted that out, is the fact that you brought up Joss Whedon, that you mentioned it was Joss Whedon for Cabin in the Woods. So I can't really get involved in that.
Nuke the Hellgate. There you go, done.
Yeah.
That's what it's called in that, isn't it? Hellgate?
The Hell
Mouth.
That's it.
It's in Sunnydale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nuke Sunnydale, done.
Nuke Sunnydale. Well, that kind of
happen. That's what
end.
happens.
Yeah.
Spoilers for these 20-year-old series.
Well, you know what, you say that, but I hadn't actually seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer until 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Maddie, my girlfriend, talked me into watching it, and good lord,
there's a lot going on.
Got me hooked. We watched Angel as well. We watched all of Angel. Did you watch the whole of Angel?
Not the whole of it.
Last episode, man. One of those ones. One of those things that I didn't expect to be so
choked.
No. I didn't expect to be so invested in the last episode because Angel was one of those ones that I never felt as invested in as I did with Buffy. And then the last season's a bit of a weird season anyway. But then the way it ended, and I literally went, "What?" I was like hitting the bed. No, this can't be the end.
Does he die at the end?
No, what, you don't know.
Ah.
So
you don't know what happens to the Aurora Borealis.
I love that joke. So I thought about what is a Halloween actual film, right, and that I enjoy. And so my pick is going to be Ghostbusters.
Hey, that's something I can get behind. You can watch that on Halloween, and it's quite fair to watch that on Halloween.
It's got ghosties. It's got ghoulies.
It's true. It's got ghosties, ghoulies. It's got New York City.
It's got New York City
in the 80s.
NYC
in the 80s.
It's got your token black man who
Winston Zeddemore.
Yeah, who doesn't play up to the token black man character, unlike they did with the awful remake with the all-female cast.
I only watched that very recently.
Mate, I've seen about 5 minutes of it.
I wasn't as upset with it as I thought I would be.
Do you not think it's all just a bit like in your face obvious and crap?
I don't know. There was a couple of parts where I went, I don't ever call a film a complete flop in my eyes when it doesn't make especially like a comedy, where it doesn't make me laugh at all.
Yeah. I
don't know. I thought like a couple of people did really well, like the sort of wacky one, blonde one. I don't know her name, from SNL.
Kristen Wiig.
No, not Kristen Wiig. She begins with a K.
Oh,
the blonde one, the one that makes all the gadgets.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
But I thought she was relatively funny. That's about it.
Because I don't like the big one,
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah,
not a fan of her.
She's not funny.
Yeah,
I don't know why she's so huge at the moment. She's not fucking funny.
No. Kristen Wiig's been funny in things.
Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not in Zoolander 2, though. She was.
Still haven't seen it, mate.
Don't.
Your recommendation was to avoid, so.
Yeah, I went to the fucking premiere of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know it's a bad film when they're asking people like you to go to the premiere instead of like celebrities.
Well, there were celebrities at the premiere.
Yeah.
Natalie Dormer, Ian Wright.
Celebrities, Dom. Ian Wright's not a celebrity.
Natalie Dormer is.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson was there. He is in the film.
Yeah, well, he's got
therefore contractually obligated.
He's kind of got to be there, hasn't he?
There was a lot of press. Wow. I was there as a press.
Wow.
To bend your nose over a little bit.
Wow.
There you go. Right.
So let's solve
what
Ghostbusters.
What are we talking about? Ghostbusters. Solve it. How would we have just gotten out of Ghostbusters completely?
Well,
you'd have to go all the way back to the time that guy made the building. What
you need to do is we need to solve basically, you know, the big. I think that what we're doing here is we're solving the big bad. So what we're stopping
Goes of the
Gozerian from appearing. You need to sort of like negate the need for the Ghostbusters to have destroyed half of New York City, because we're going to be doing them a favor as well, because if you remember the beginning of Ghostbusters 2,
yes,
they're sort of like in debt and they owe the city millions of dollars because of the destruction in the city, and for some reason they get held to account, even though it's clear in front of hundreds of thousands of people that they saved the city.
By crossing the streams.
Cross the streams.
There's a simple answer to this.
Go on.
No, that would have caused a lot of damage as well.
What's that?
Well, the building was made, wasn't it? It
was supposed to be like a supernatural antenna.
Yeah. So you could demolish the building.
We're going back to procedure here. That guy should never have been allowed to build a building.
That was a supernatural antenna.
Surely someone realised that wasn't up to code.
Yeah, right.
A fucking dog living in it.
Yeah. Trying to think. See, what would have happened if the Ghostbusters hadn't have gotten involved? That's the question I'm asking.
Well,
would she have still?
She would have laid waste. She would have laid waste to the city.
Yeah, I know, but like, would the whole sequence of events that led to Gozer have happened if they hadn't have got involved?
Yeah, I think
I'm talking about the Tony Stark theory here. Most of the problems the Avengers face are their own.
Yeah, well, the reason that the Ghostbusters become so big in New York
because
City,
there was lots of supernatural shit happening in the build up to it, so it was happening anyway. Yeah.
Because if you remember at the beginning of the film, it's Sigourney Weaver again. She's come up twice this week as well.
It's true. She was really quite. Never found her attractive, but she's oddly very attractive in both films.
She's like 6 foot something tall, isn't she? She's so much taller than me.
Oddly attractive in both of those films.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's quite a strong lady.
Like a powerful woman.
She's a powerful woman. Yeah. I dig that.
So put your penis away. I do not want to see it.
Here's
not crossing the stream.
Coming back to procedure.
Yeah.
Government should have recognised this because they are empirical. There are a number of occasions in that film where empirical evidence is shown, like absolute incontrovertible proof that the supernatural is about, and also it's pretty dangerous.
To quote Winston Zeddemore, "I've seen some shit that will turn you white."
Yeah, exactly. You know, and these team of scientists, be they, you know, they're not exactly respected members of their field.
No.
But that shit you cannot deny. Like Slimer and, you know, in the hotel. Is that the second one?
Slimer in the hotel is in the first one.
Yeah. You know, the librarian at the very beginning.
Yeah.
2 guys in the electric chair. Is that first or second?
That's the second one.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
But there are a number of different things.
Yeah, that's the fucking two guys in the electric chairs. That's in a fucking city,
Like a courthouse with like hundreds of people watching.
Yeah.
And also the Stay Puft guy.
The Stay Puft guy. Yeah.
At least, maybe we can't solve Ghostbusters 1, but we could definitely solve Ghostbusters 2 in the fact that the government should have recognised this is a potential threat to national security. A 200, 300 foot fucking mascot roaming the streets of fucking the biggest, most culturally, sort of central city of the world.
Yeah.
Government should have done something. Pentagon should have started up its own Ghostbusters division.
Yeah. I always get stuck in my head. They sort of like jazzed up the theme tune in the second one.
Yeah.
When they go back in business and they're like, we're back. And it's like, there's something strange going on. Something's wrong. I always think about that around Halloween.
Do you know what the scariest bit in Ghostbusters is?
Go on.
The librarian at the very beginning.
The little old lady.
That.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual librarian.
No. When they go to the ghost librarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. That's scary, man.
That is quite scary.
There's
There's not a lot of scares in Ghostbusters. So there's lots of ghosts.
There's lots of spooks.
I think what it really ultimately shows is that ghosts aren't as caught up with scaring people, making people jump as people think.
Yeah.
Ghosts are always sort of, come hand in hand with like boo and stuff like that. But really they're more like
one of the best sort of in-universe explanation I've ever got about ghosts from a piece of fiction is I'm reading a series of books at the moment. They're pretty good actually, called the P.C. Grant Mysteries.
Right.
It's about this young sort of mixed race police officer who's like wanting to become a detective in the Met. And it's all set in London. And like he applies to be a detective or something after his 2 years on the beat, and he gets given like computer job basically. And then one night he's in like a Covent Garden, like looking for some drunk fella, and like he meets like this cold like looking dude and stuff like that, and then meets another guy. Basically it all pans out that there's a occult division of the Metropolitan Police. Cool. And he goes to work for them. It's really cool, but it's all very scientific. But he's like he had like got a science degree before he joined the Met,
right?
So he tries to approach it really scientifically. So it's quite fun in that respect. But basically, the explanation for like ghosts is like they're like background radiation, so like collective memories that replay themselves over and over again. Which is why ghosts always do the same thing. Like the woman in white is always in the tower screaming for her baby.
Okay.
And like that's what they are. And there's
that's like the only information.
The only information that still exists.
Yeah.
And so basically it plays itself out. It's like this residual energy that plays itself out and only sort of has a certain amount of personality and the amount of information it can give you, sort of thing.
So what really we need to do to solve Ghostbusters in its entirety? No, you don't even need them. You're not even talking about stopping Ghost of the Gozerian here. Is that we just need to have more stringent monitors of radiation and have them eliminated from the world.
Yeah, something like, I don't know, like, this sort of spiritual background radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just sort of need to negate that.
Decontaminate, to use it as like a sort of almost an environmental... make a new division of the Environment Agency.
Yeah, but that disposal would be the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but they'd be no better than like bin men.
Waste disposal technicians.
Yeah, waste disposal technicians. Yeah,
ghost disposal engineers.
Yeah, it sounds much cooler than it actually is.
Yeah,
really, all it is going out and like pumping some.
You know who would be the head of that division?
Who?
Walter Peck from Ghostbusters.
Yes.
He would be the new head of that division. That should have been Ghostbusters 3.
They've got like
that's what they should have done with after Ghostbusters.
The government 2, muscles in on the business.
The government comes in and essentially demands that the Ghostbusters come under like government regulation.
It's a bit like the Superhero Registration Act.
Yeah.
You're just basically saying Ghostbusters Civil War.
Ghostbusters Civil War. And then the person who's like heading up the unit is Walter Peck from Ghostbusters, from the first Ghostbusters.
That's the
film.
like guy that like tries to shut them down, isn't it?
Yeah. Like the ginger guy with the beard.
Yeah.
That plays that guy in every film in the 90s.
The 80s and 90s, yeah.
Plays that guy in Die Hard.
Yeah.
And Die Hard 2, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, because he's on the same flight as Holly McClane.
That's right.
And so that's where your sort of like your comic tension comes from. Like, the Ghostbusters coming up against Walter Peck. And, he was trying to do the right thing in the first place. But, they didn't need to be a dick to him as much as they were. And if they hadn't been, if they had just paid some niceties towards him, he might not have come down and closed the grid off.
Yes.
And then caused the mass expulsion of all the ghosts. So that's what it is. Like, he's like the hard lieutenant character, and then the Ghostbusters are, the crack team of Ghostbusters, and they're trying to like get people on board.
A motley crew.
Yeah, they're trying to. There's a whole new division they're trying to get in on, and everyone wants to be part of it because it's the cool new division, and everyone's trying to transfer in and that sort of thing. And then one of them's actually a ghost.
Slimer gets the uniform.
Yeah. That's what they should have done with Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah,
and then they could have brought the female characters in. And they could have been the new team.
We got one.
They could have been the new team. They could have been on there. They've gone through the whole like training, and it's like their whole, that's what it is. Yeah. That's what they should have done with the new Ghostbusters.
Very good.
We should write Ghostbusters.
I don't think Bill Murray will let us.
No. Well, you can just call him up. Apparently,
Really?
leave a message on his answer phone. He doesn't have an agent, does he?
Well, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray doesn't have an agent. He famously doesn't have a Hollywood agent.
Is that so?
He has a phone number that you can call, and
he listens through every now and again.
You leave a message on it and telling him what the project is you want him to be involved in, or some shit like that. And if something takes his fancy on his answer phone, he just calls you up and does it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well then,
There was a film.
we should call up Bill Murray.
There was a film which Bill Murray was asked to be in. Oh, I can't remember what it was now. Oh, I'll remember it at some point. There was some film that Bill Murray was. They had him pegged for the lead character, and then someone else sort of quite famously took that role and was really great in it. But he said that he just didn't hear the answer phone message.
Oh, really?
Basically, so know what he didn't know.
Oh.
I'll find out who it is in a minute.
Yes.
Or what film it is.
Who
Sorry.
the fuck is Ross?
I really don't know. I don't think. Maybe he's not coming back.
Blimey.
So we're saying more strict building regulations should solve Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Pedantry is the way forward.
Cool. Well, before we wrap this up, then I'm going to go and find Ross because at least he can do the, the bit on the end.
Yeah.
I'll pop down and find out where he is.
Okay. Unique New York. Unique New York. Where's he gone? Dan? Dan? Jesus. Where's he gone? Ross? Dan? Freaked out. You guys playing some sort of fucking joke? Oh. I'm off to find them. I'm going to finish this recording. See if it's 6 I've been Dom, and they've been missing.